Welcome to my walkthrough for Silent Hill, released in 1999 on the PlayStation 1. We'll be starting a brand new playthrough, collecting all of the items, and completing 2 optional missions to achieve the game's Good Plus ending. Let's get right to it. Harry and his daughter Cheryl were heading to Silent Hill for a vacation. When a mysterious figure appears on the road, Harry swerves to avoid her and ends up crashing his vehicle. When he comes to, he finds his daughter Cheryl missing, and his next task is to find her in Silent Hill. This part of the game is linear. We'll be railroaded into following Cheryl into the alley.
Cheryl? Is that Cheryl? Where are you going? Hey, wait! Stop!
Now this is a good time to mention that the game is running in a 4:3 aspect ratio, which is how it was released. With modern emulators, the game can display in 16:9 aspect ratio for most of the game. Now for this playthrough, I've chosen to go with its native aspect ratio, and I'll use the extra space for maps and other information.
This? What's going on here? Was I dreaming?
How do you feel?
Oh, like I've been run over by a truck. But I'm all right, I guess.
Glad to hear it. You from around here? Why don't you tell me what happened?
Wait a second, I'm just a tourist. I came here for a vacation. I just got here. I don't know what happened. I'd like to find out myself.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen a little girl? Just turned 7 last month. Short, black hair. My daughter.
Sorry. The only person I've seen in this town is you.
Where is everybody?
I'd tell you if I knew, believe me. But from what I can tell, something bizarre's going on. That's all I know. What's your name?
Harry. Harry Mason.
Cybil Bennett. I'm a police officer from Brams, the next town over. The phones are all dead, and the radio too. I'm going back to call in some reinforcements. Hold it. Where do you think you're going?
My daughter. I've got to find her.
No way. It's dangerous out there.
In that case, I need to find her now. Cheryl's my little girl. I can't just leave her out there by herself.
Have you got a gun?
No.
Take this, and hope you don't have to use it. Now listen to me. Before you pull the trigger, know who you're shooting. And don't do it unless you have to. And don't go blasting me by mistake. Got it?
Yeah, thanks.
You do best to stay nearby. I'll be back with help as quick as I can.
We don't know if what happened to Harry was a hallucination or something else. Regardless, we still need to find Cheryl. There are some items to pick up here before we can head out of the cafe. When we try to leave, we'll hear the radio go off, and grabbing that radio will lead to our first enemy encounter with the air screamer.
What's that? Radio. What's going on with that radio? This is not a dream. What's happening to this place?
Heading north from the cafe's exit, we can find handgun bullets on a bench here. Next, we need to head back to that alley and see if we can find any clues on Cheryl's whereabouts. This is the game's second enemy, the Groaner, though I'll be calling them dogs for the rest of the playthrough. In the main town map, I'll be avoiding most enemies to conserve ammo and time. Generally, if I won't be returning to an area a second time, I'll just avoid the enemies if I can. At the end of the alley, we'll find more handgun ammo, the steel pipe melee weapon, and some clues as to where Cheryl may have gone, which is the elementary school.
Isn't this Cheryl's sketchbook? She's at the school.
Now it's at this point that we could decide to try to head directly to the elementary school or explore the area. There will actually be 3 keys we need to find in this immediate area before we can proceed further. If we were to try heading to the school, we would find hints as to where these keys would be. But I'm going to save a little time by taking a route clockwise through this first area to find those keys first. Now if we continue heading north from the alley, we can actually find Harry's crashed Jeep. And if we examine it, we can find a health drink. Next, if we cross the street to the east and head back south, we can find the convenience store, an optional area. Inside, we can find 3 more health drinks, a first aid kit, and a save point. Now, after an initial playthrough, there's an additional item that can be found here, and that's the channeling stone. The channeling stone could optionally be used to unlock the game's UFO ending. Let's head south and a little east from the store to head into an alley. On the west side of the alley, we'll find a gate and we can head inside. Here we'll find one of the keys we need, as well as a health drink. Let's head north out of the alley and then we'll continue east along the road. The road will eventually dead end and we'll find a police car here. We can pick up more handgun ammo and the second key. Next, let's head back west and then south along the main road. We'll keep heading south along the road until it dead ends. On the west side of the road, we'll find a makeshift bridge leading to our third key and a health drink. Now let's head back to Matheson Street and make a left turn to head west. We can make a left to head south onto this alley and pick up some handgun bullets. Let's head out the way we came and head to the opposite side of the street, then continue west. We'll be passing the Queen Burger, where we can make a right onto Bachman Road and pick up another health drink. We can get back onto Matheson Street and continue heading west. There's another alley here that we can optionally go down to pick up a first aid kit. There will be some dogs to avoid here as well. Back out of the alley, we'll continue heading west and then make a left turn onto Levin Street. At the very south end of the street, at the dead end, we can find another health drink on the stairs. Now back out onto Matheson Street, we're going to continue heading west until we find another dead end. Here we can find another clue that directs us to search the Doghouse on Levin Street. That's just around the corner heading north. We can inspect the Doghouse to find that key. And just a note, we wouldn't be able to pick up this key without first finding that note, so it is critical. With the key, we can head inside the house. There's a first aid kit just inside the doorway. And into the main area of the home, we can find more handgun ammunition. There's a save point here, and I'd recommend making use of it. In the kitchen, we can find a health drink on the counter, and then we can check out the rear exit of the home. Just to the left of the door, there's a map that gives hints as to where to find those 3 keys we've already picked up. We'll use those 3 keys to open the back door and move on to the next area. Things are getting creepier. There are 2 health drinks we can find on the table here, and then we can use the gate at the back to exit into the alley. Now you could choose to head direct to the school, but there's some optional items we can pick up along the way. crossing the road all the way to the west here before heading north so I can avoid a patrolling dog. On the northwest side of the map, we can find some more handgun ammunition and a health drink. Now that we have those items, we can head to the south. When we reach the intersection with Matheson Street, we can head to the east, which is a left turn. Look for another alleyway entrance on the right, which heads south. And there's a couple items we can pick up here. First, there's a health drink on the east side of the alley. And then a little further south, we can find some handgun ammunition. Heading out of the alley, we'll cross the street and then head directly to the west. Once we reach the main road, we can head south. And the school is just on the right here, which is the west side of the street, but if we continue a little further, we can find a school bus. Inside of the bus, we can find 2 health drinks. At the back of the bus, we can find a save point, though I'll be using one inside the school. Now as I exit the bus, I'm going to turn off my flashlight to buy a few moments before the dog outside notices us. Turning the flashlight off actually lets us stealth around some enemies, and you'll see me doing this periodically through the game. Alright, we've reached the elementary school. Just inside the entrance, we can find the map. Heading out into the hallway, we can make a right to reach the infirmary. There's a save point here, which I'll use in a moment, and we can also find a first aid kit and a health drink on the shelf. Heading to the left, we'll find a reception area, and there's a list of teachers here. Note that one of the teachers has the name Gordon, which we'll see again in a little bit. Now around the counter, we'll find 3 cryptic notes, and these give us hints as to what to do in the school. Note the 3 different times and what they describe. In the room to the back, we'll find some handgun ammo and a very creepy looking painting. Heading out into the courtyard, we'll have our first encounter with the Grey Demon Children. I'd suggest eliminating them, as we'll be back here again. Now in the southeast corner we'll find the clock tower. It has 2 round indentations on either side where something could be inserted. If we examine the tower, we'll see the time is stopped at 10 o'clock, which matches one of the hints we found in a reception. Let's head north out of here, then north into the next room, avoiding the Grey Children in the hallway. There's some handgun bullets here, as well as another technical enemy, the larval stalker. They are these shadow-like apparitions, which at the moment will not harm us. Let's head back out of here, and then we'll take the western exit. Let's head upstairs to the second floor. From here, I'm heading to the hallway just above where we were before. And then take the eastern exit so we can head into the library on the northeastern corner. There's a first aid kit here, and then I'm going to loop back to the hallway. I'm going through the library reserve, which technically isn't necessary. There's only an enemy in here, which I'll just be skipping. Now we'll need to head into the westernmost door in this hallway to pick up a chemical. Let's head back out and into the next room. We'll find some handgun ammo in the back, but more importantly, we'll find a statue of a hand that's grasping an item. We can use the chemical on the hand to get that item, which is the gold medallion. Now as we head out, I'm turning off my flashlight to avoid the enemies that are now in the hallway. We'll head back out the western door. And optionally, we can sneak into the classroom just across the way for a health drink. Now I'm going to head all the way to the end of the hallway into the last door, which is the girls' bathroom. We will find 2 enemies in here, and we'll also find some handgun ammo, making it worth it. Our next task is to head back to the first floor and use that medallion in the tower, and I'm going to do that through the route in the southern hallway, as we're going to be back here later. Now you'll see that most of the time I take a moment to aim before firing. This is to improve Harry's accuracy with firearms. If you just fire without taking the time to aim first, there's a chance those shots will be missed. We don't need to enter these rooms just yet. Instead, I'm going to unlock the eastern door so I can head downstairs. Before heading down, I'm going to duck into this room here and grab some handgun bullets. before heading back into the southern hallway, we can make a pit stop in one of the classrooms on this wing to pick up more handgun ammo. Now we can unlock this door leading to the southern hallway. The immediate task is to place the gold medallion in the clock tower. After placing the medallion, we can examine the clock tower again and see that it stopped at a different time, which again corresponds to one of the hints we found when we first entered the school. That hint references a place with sounds and song, so let's head to the music room on the second floor. There's a piano in the middle of the room and a hint on the chalkboard as to what to do with it. The hint refers to 5 birds without a voice, and each bird is either black or white in color. The hints also describe the order in which the birds end up lining up. The white and black birds represent white and black piano keys, and the piano has 5 keys which are broken and don't make sound. From that, we can determine the order in which we need to press those piano keys. This will get us the silver medallion, which we can take to the clock tower. Now there's an optional room we can explore here before heading to that clock tower. If we head inside this room, we'll hear a noise and can investigate. Now, it sounds like something bad happened to that cat. Be prepared when we get outside. Let's head back down to the first floor and use the silver medallion. We have 2 more enemies in the hallway now. Now 5 o'clock referenced a dark place with choking heat, which could be the boiler room. So now we're heading to the basement. Now I'd recommend saving before proceeding, as we're about to head into the nightmare school. Now we'll find that we can enter the tower.
Where am I? Have I been here before? I don't remember this being here before.
We'll find that we're in the otherworld version of the school. I'm going to exit north out of here, and there will be 2 gray children on the other side. I'm shutting my flashlight off to get a better position before dealing with them. Let's head into the westernmost room where we're going to find a rubber ball. And in the middle room we can find more handgun ammo and a first aid kit. The eastern hallway exit is locked, so we're taking a route through another room. Once we get out, you can unlock that door if you'd like to, and then we'll head into the northeasternmost classroom to find the card key item. I've shut the flashlight off again so I can sneak through here. We want to exit through the south. We'll find a health drink on a bench here, and then we can head into the southern hallway. Inside the infirmary, we'll find more health items and we can make a save. This is the only save point in the nightmare version of the school. Let's unlock the courtyard door while we're here, and then we can head into the southern room for another item. Now I managed to sneak through here, but it's a small room, so that might not always be the best plan. There's a wheelchair in the southwestern corner, and it has an ampoule on it. Now let's head to the room behind reception. Here we find handgun ammo and the actual doorway that was featured in the painting in the normal world. We can use that card we found in the slot to open the doorway. That'll let us access the western hallway. I'm gonna head into the girls' bathroom here. And while there's nothing inside, when we leave, we're going to find that we've been teleported to the second floor. Now on the second floor, I'm going to head into the boys' bathroom for some ammunition. Now let's return back to the first floor by way of the girls' bathroom. In the boys' bathroom on the first floor, we'll find the shotgun. We can also examine one of the walls here for some cryptic information. We're going to head to the north side of this hallway, but we have to go through the classroom for that. There's some ammo on this chair, and when we try to leave, we'll hear the phone ring.
Daddy, help me. Daddy, where are you?
Cheryl!
I think most players would choose to explore the second floor next, but let's save some time and head directly to the roof first. So on one side of the roof we'll see some blood, which directs our attention to one of the downspouts. If you examine it, you'll see there's a key inside. We'll need a way to dislodge it. Now if we follow the path of this gutter, we'll see there's a hole in one corner, and we can plug that hole with the rubber ball we found on the first floor. Just a little further away, we'll find a drainage valve, which when we open, will send water gushing down the downspout, flushing the key to the ground floor. So now we can grab that key. We can find it on the north side of the first floor courtyard. So let's go do that. Now let's head to the second floor and continue our investigation. On the south end of the second floor western hallway, we can find a health drink. And we'll need to head through the classroom here on the west. I'm going to take the northern door to get a better position on the enemies inside. There's some handgun ammo we can grab here before heading to the next room. There's some shotgun ammo in this room, and then we can head out the southern door. We'll head across and enter the southern hallway. There's a couple enemies to deal with here. Here, let's check out the otherworld version of the locker room. No cat this time, but let's make sure to pick up the key before we leave. The key we found gets us into the library reserve, which is on the north side of the second floor. Let's head that way. Now I'm heading to the classroom from the northern side with my flashlight off to sneak around these enemies. We can get into this side of the library with the key we found. We'll find a first aid kit on the shelf inside. And on the other side of the shelf, we'll find the book The Monster Lurks. Harry can actually only read this if we found the writing inside the boys' bathroom where we found the shotgun. In the next room, we'll find some more ammo and another book, which gives us a hint on how to deal with the school's boss enemy. We can exit the library through the south and optionally unlock the hallway door. We'll use the classroom key to get inside the northeasternmost classroom here. Now there are only enemies in here, so I'm going to sneak through with my flashlight off and exit through the southern door. We can grab a health drink on our way out from the next classroom. One more health drink on a bench just outside, and then we'll head south. You can again unlock the hallway door if you'd like to, though what we need to do is head downstairs. Now I'd recommend unlocking this door, getting into the first floor hallway, so we can reach the infirmary and make a save. Now we're ready to head to the basement. Let's head into the basement storage room for some shotgun shells and an ampoule. Now let's head to the boiler room for our boss encounter. We'll need to clear the turnstiles so we can get through, and we can do that by turning these valves. Each valve will simultaneously rotate one side 180 degrees and the other side at 90 degrees. From a fresh start, we can rotate the right valve left twice and then the left valve right once in order to get through. Now, if you remember the book from the library, it gave us a hint on how to deal with this monster. We'll need to shoot it a few times in order to stun it, which will cause it to pause like this, and we'll want to get directly in front of it. Aim the shotgun and get ready to start backing up. When it opens its mouth, keep firing until it's gone. Now, on hard difficulties, you might need to repeat this a few times, but on normal difficulty, it can be completed pretty quickly.
What was that? Who in the hell was that?
So we just picked up the K. Gordon key from the boiler room, and if you recall when we entered the school, that was one of the teachers on the reception list. So optionally we can check out that list again and get marked on our map our next destination. This is a good place to end the first part of the walkthrough. Thanks for watching. I hope you join me for the next part where we'll help get Harry to Central Silent Hill and Alchemilla Hospital.